Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Blackjack. Today, as always, I'll be doing a YouTube deck tech from the comment section for you guys. If you're interested in having me put a deck together for you or help you tweak a list you're trying to work on, I'm looking for any of the 5 metrics in the comment section. A bracket, a budget, a theme, a commander, and any pet cards you might have. I'll also leave a link to my Discord down below if you want to join. It's an easy place for you to post a current deck list for me to look at. Today we are looking at Zinnia, Valley's Voice, a request from Naoma, toying around with the idea of Zinnia, Hare parent list, bracket 3, bracket 4, powerful but not CDH, proxies for a budget, pet cards, Moonlit Meditation, Starfield Vocalist, so that is what we built. Zinnia is Jeskai, a blue, a red, and a white for a 1/3 bird bard with flying. Zinnia gets plus X plus O, where X is the number of creatures you control with base power 1. Creature spells you control have offspring 2. Offspring 2 means you can pay an additional 2 colorless as you cast the creature. If you do, you make a 1/1 copy of it. So it pretty much lets you double up on your Heir Apparent triggers and some of the other things going on in here as well. The only Planeswalker we are playing is Elspeth Stormslayer. Being able to double up on the tokens that Heir Apparent makes is pretty good. And then we do need to have win conditions. So if you don't know what Heir Apparent does, we'll just get that out of the way. It is a 2/2 creature. When this creature enters, create a number of 1/1 white rabbit tokens equal to the number of creatures you control named Heir Apparent, and a deck can have any number of Heir Apparent. We are playing 25, so roughly 1/4 of the deck is going to be a Heir Apparent. So, whoops. So if we look at Elspeth, the main thing is, how do you win with a bunch of 1/1 and 2/2 rabbits? It's important that you find win conditions and the ability to actually pump them up. Elspeth does both. It doubles on the number of tokens that we're creating, and then its zero ability also allows us to put a 1/1 counter on each creature we control and then give them flying till end of turn. So it's a great way to actually end the game. Creatures doesn't look like many, but there are 34. Curiosity Crafter will allow us to draw cards. Delny will double all of our Heir Apparent triggers. Alish Norn will double all the triggers and then stop triggers for your opponents. Enduring Innocence is card draw. Mentor of the Meek is card draw. Welcoming Vampire card draw. Rumor Gatherer card draw. Mondrak will double the tokens. Starfield Vocalist will double the triggers and 25 Heir Apparents. So if you're interested in a deck that is very focused in what it's trying to do, I am going to create 2/2 and 1/1 rabbits and win the game via that. This is a good place to go. All of the creatures here are meant to do a couple of things, either draw cards, double up our triggers, or be Heir Apparents. That's pretty much it. Sorceries, we're playing 2. Dusk Dawn and Raise the Past, both of these are, well, Dusk Dawn will be a one-sided board wipe for you, but Dawn slash Raise the Past will both be ways for you to raise your rabbits out of the graveyard. Instance, so we did go bracket 3. Let me adjust you here a little bit. We did go bracket 3. I do want to say, at least in my opinion, when you start talking about bracket 4, you're looking at like almost CDH level decks that are trying to combo out to win the game more often than not and doing it very quickly. A deck like this will never be bracket 4 in my opinion, just because, a good example is my bracket 4 deck is Vivi, and I have consistently won the game between turn 3 and 4 every time I've played it. Now, you could argue that is CDH, and I would say you're probably right. You could also argue that bracket 4 and bracket 5 are pretty much the exact same thing. It's hard for me to find differences. I would say maybe just the budget or the level of quality of cards you have is not quite where a CDH deck would be. Um, but all in all, I would say bracket 4 is just combo-tastic. And this deck is bracket 3, looking to have fun and build up your army, be a battle cruiser of rabbits. Though we do have some game changers, we have Teferi's Protection. Obviously, when you are committing so many rabbits to the board in order to avoid a mass genocide, it's important that we have multiple ways to save our troops. So Teferi's Protection, Akroma's Will, Boros Charm, Dawn's Truce, Flawless Maneuver are all going to be ways for us to keep our rabbits around. Hopefully you're going to have one of these in your hand at all times into the mid and late game. That way your rabbits are always safe. Akroma's Will can double up as a way to end the game as well. Harmonized Crescendo for a mass amount of card draw. Cyclonic Rift will allow you to bounce a bunch of stuff. It's just generically good in pretty much any blue deck, and when you're talking bracket 3, you should probably be playing it. Swords to Plowshares as pretty much the best to best removal. So, a ramp package, Arcane Signet, Azorius Signet, Felwar Stone, Soul Rain, Talisman of Progress. There's only 5 here. It's important to note that our game operates around 3 to 4 mana. Ideally, you only need 3 mana to get your commander out, and then Heir Apparents are only 2. So if you can get to that 4 to 5 mana mark, really realistically, your late game is 5 mana. At 5 mana, you can deploy pretty much anything going on in the deck, and you can also double spell. You can be playing a Heir Apparent and a Delny, or a Heir Apparent and a Rumor Gatherer, a Heir Apparent and a Mentor of the Meek, a Heir Apparent and your commander. You can also start activating your Offspring ability on a lot of your stuff. But I would say 5 mana is pretty much the top of the mountain for us as far as our costs. So I don't think it's super important to have 10 pieces of ramp in here. I think getting to 4 or 5 is going to happen kind of naturally. That being said, we do need to shore up our win conditions. So again, 2/2s and 1/1s aren't going to always be able to get the job done. Banner of Kinship, Coat of Arms, Eldrazi Monument are all going to be ways for us to actually close a game out. So hopefully you're drawing either one of these or your Elspeth every game. We have Idol of Oblivion for card draw, Panharmonicon to double all the triggers, and then Thrumming Stone. Oh, Skull Clamp I skipped over. Obviously the best card draw in any token deck ever. Thrumming Stone, spells you control have Ripple 4, so whenever you play a Heir Apparent, you look at the top 4. If there's another Heir Apparent, you get to play it, and then you get to go on and on and on. So hypothetically, statistically, I didn't do the math, but I mean, if you just close your eyes and don't think about it, realistically, if this is out and you play one Heir Apparent, you'll get all 25 from your deck. Is that going to happen? Absolutely not. I guarantee nothing, but hey, even getting a couple's worthwhile. Enchantments, Caretaker's Talent for card draw, Cathar's Crusade is another way for us to actually close the game out. Moonlit Meditation, one of your pet cards, but also a fun one, pretty much creating multiples of whatever you want. Shared Animosity will pump up your rabbits and let you end the game. Smothering Tithe for some mana generation. Finally, War Leader's Call pumps creatures and it deals damage. It's not amazing here, and there is a route where you can go where you're playing like Perforos and all these. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, deal 1 damage to each opponent. I don't like that in this deck because typically when you play a deck like Perforos or a deck with anything that says when a creature enters, everyone takes 1, guess what? You ended up becoming the enemy of the table fairly quickly. And when you do that, your table's going to get messed with fairly quickly. So we need some time to battle cruise up and build up our rabbit militia. We can't be having our rabbits getting picked off as soon as they're being deployed. So I don't want too many ways to piss our opponents off early and often. I want to look cute and cuddly with a abundance of fluffy rabbits just frolicking, and then eventually, deploy shared animosity, and each rabbit is attacking for 10, 12, 15 damage, and we just end the game in one fell swoop. Lands, we only have 36. As always with the lands, do the best with what you got. You're going to be proxying, so I gave you pretty much the best of the best. Noteworthy that there's almost no red in this deck. 6%, so not super important that we're able to generate red at all turns of the game. That is a one serious reason that we are doing like our Azorius Signet and Talisman of Progress versus the red generating signets or talisman. So what I will say is we have plenty of ways to find red. It's important that we do have a red on turn 3 every single turn, every single game in order to get our commander out. But beyond that, you're really only going to need access to 1 per turn, if that. So there's a lot of ways to make blue and white, and enough to make red. But overall, I think you're going to have a great time with this deck. Like I said, it's of the utmost importance for you to just look innocent as you're building up before your rabbits mutate into, you know, just disgusting abominations that are taking people out in one turn. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how it plays out. Thank you so much for watching. As always, Godspeed.